Oh, good afternoon, everyone.
Is it not?
Yeah, it's live.
Oh.
You just bump up my character's ratings in there. He's got this DC universe game going on online, and, well, he's got me playing with him. Okay, today we are going to be having mac and cheese with turnip greens, collard greens, what's left of them, and I'm gonna add some mushrooms and to it, and I got some steaks marinating in my little ice cream container here. I'm gonna move that up too. In my little butter container, got some nice fingerling steaks in here. Oh, it smells good too. That really does smell good. I've been marinating for a couple days now. Okay. Gotta have my mushrooms. No matter what, gotta have my mushrooms. So I'm gonna try to do a collard green salad. I've got some leftover collards that were in there. It's got some carrots in it. I've got some sauce from a previous meal. And I'm going to add these mushrooms to it and hopefully come up with a collard green salad. Cross your fingers. Sometimes they work and sometimes they don't. Okay. If I learned anything, go ahead and get my noodles going. So, we need that. And I need this one. Put that up. And where did my... over here. And that. Go ahead and open this up. I'm still out of milk. Ow! Plastic barnacles. Love it that they have some actual cheese in it. That's going to make mixing that a lot better. So we got that. Let's go ahead and pour these in. There's one. There's two. And break these down and throw them away. Now, I get some water in this. If you use hot water when you're boiling anything, for some odd reason, the hot water helps you get to a boil a lot faster. That's a little tip if you're kind of in a hurry. Join the battle to fight at your side and end Faust's violent plot. Now, I don't do a major amount of seasonings to mine. My stuff, I try to layer my food with seasonings. Sometimes I do put salt in my noodles. Sometimes I don't. That's what I was saying. Sometimes I just think sometimes you need it, sometimes you don't. Now, normally I would be using butter instead of shortening in my noodles, but I'm out of that too, unfortunately. So, we're going to get a little bit of this. And all this is going to do is just keep your noodles from sticking to the pot. So you don't want that. That's a booger to get off. Okay, go ahead and get this going. Don't want them to get done too early, but I do want them to get done. Now, that should work. Okay. Step 2. Get my mushrooms going. Now, these I like to have mine in chunks or something stuff, but I like to be able to see my stuff, so I know what I got. You may not. This is completely up to you. Like I said before, that everything is a learning process. You find out what you like. What I like may not be what you like. What I can do may not be what you can do. Like I am still learning how to make noodles from scratch. Problem? Ingredients aren't the problem with me. My problem is the material to get it. I don't have a noodle press. So I'm having to do things by hand, and I don't know how yet. That's like when I first started out, I was making cream potatoes from potato flakes. Mainly because that's the way my mama had always done it. Or my adopted mother had always done it. But I started learning how to do fresh potatoes. And it took me a minute to actually figure it out. Like if you boil the potatoes first, or not boil them, but if you soak them in cold water, it takes some of the starch out. So I filled my sink with cold water, cut and peeled them, and that way, by the time I was able to put them in the pot, my sink that was filled with cold water looked milky. And I just took the rest of my my adopted mother had taught me on how to make cream potatoes, and I wound up making a very delicious cream potato. But to cream them, I didn't have one of those presses you can stick down and smash all your potatoes. I had to use a fork, and that took forever. Like, way too long. I was really thanking God when I finally got me a proper utensil. You'd be amazed on how simple utensils will actually ease up the process or speed up the process a little bit. In no time at all, I was making fresh cream potatoes very quickly.
That's a few soul spouse won't get his greasy hands on. Thanks for your help.
He plays my character better than me. That just ain't fair. But he has been playing for quite a while. A lot longer than I've known him.
I will possess the collective soul of mankind and turn the flesh of all things to my will.
who eats heroes for breakfast, right? Not bad for your first battle with the force of evil.
That worked. Yeah. I wound up with a husband who gets angry at me because I do the cleaning by myself and I overdo it. So if you hear me moaning and groaning about my back, it's because I've done got in trouble and messed up my back again. I mean, this man really does not want me cleaning the house without him because he knows I'm going to overdo it and mess and throw my back, which is not very hard to do. And he's had me sit down a couple of times today, and I still threw my back. So, plan B, go get a back brace. Okay. Go ahead and get these mushrooms going so I can get
Brainiac is attacking, starting inside the bottle and bombarding us with truth.
Now, mushrooms absorb oil.
So taking out its forces on the ground should be a cakewalk.
Tilt this a little bit so you can see me a little bit better. There we go. Get that going. I'll come back to that in a minute again. Okay. That works out of my way.
Right here in the chocolates. I'll get there when we can.
There.
Until then, think you can handle it? I call upon you as one who has been proven in battle. Dr. Fate's war against Trigon has broken. Now Trigon's demons rampage throughout the Tomorrow District. The Science Police's powers are not enough.
To start my steaks. I need to go ahead and get me a plate to put them on when they're done. So I'm going to go ahead and have this. I need to move this out of my way so I can sit that there. And I'll just right here. Kathy just have to get over it. And this right here. And now I can move you a little closer to what I'm doing. Okay. Keep your noodles stirred this that way. One, it's easy to check and see if they're getting how done they are. I've done this a lot. Noodles, I've cooked noodles so many times I can tell by looking at them now. And I've been cooking noodles for a long time. But if you're just starting out making macaroni and cheese or cooking any kind of noodle, tip is take a spoon or fork or something, go to the edge of your pot with a noodle and try to cut it. If it cuts really easy, then it's done. If it's still a little tough, keep cooking. Okay, mushrooms are ready to go in.
This is Oracle. You took out a Brainiac ship, so taking out his forces on the ground should be a cakewalk. He's staging his front line nearby. Head over there and kick some can.
There we go. Now, I'll just use this. I'm done her time. Thing about mushrooms, they're very easy to, they absorb oil and they turn into a very beautiful color when you're cooking them. It's kind of how you know when they're done. If you'll give me a second, I will try to show you what they look like. I'm not saying I'll succeed in trying. I'm just now learning how to operate the technology by myself. I would say that's done. Now I'm going to take this. Thank you. And try not to push the middle button. And try to hold this over the pot. See that dark color? That's how I know they're done. Okay, from there, I'm gonna throw in this. It's the sauce I had from the a previous dish. In fact, I made ribs at one point, and I just decided I would save the sauce. Now, let me put this over here. Oh, good Lord. That is just torment on the back. Start that in. Add these. Alrighty. Wish I had some music going on in here. I'm sorry I'm so quiet. A lot of times I'm like that. I'm still learning how to do YouTube. I'm still learning that I always have to talk. So I kind of run out of things to say very quickly. One of the things I have picked up over time, this is strictly trial and error, is if you're short on cash and you need food, try to find these grocery stores that do these pick fives. That's how I do a lot of things sometimes. A lot of things I will actually go to. We've got 2 where I live, grocery stores that do pick 5. And what it is you pick 5 things and it's winds up being $19.99. That ain't bad. Like if 5 different meats for $19.99. That's a bargain, really. Put the rest of this in here. And that's noodles that got to be stirred. And I'm going to wind up having to add more water to that. So yeah, if you're on a tight budget, that's a good thing to do to keep you on budget. and be able to feed your family. Add some water to this. Stir this. Oh, they're looking good. Add a little bit more water. Don't want to add too much because I don't want very soupy collard greens. For some reason, that's just not my cup of tea. In a minute, I will be starting my steaks. Now, let that cook.
Switching signals just as Ooh, we made him mad. He's targeting all of my comm frequencies. Luckily, I know a few tricks. So get to Radiant's ground zero. All those humans and ships, he'll stop following me unless you stop him.
Alrighty. Back to my shortening. At the moment, that's the only oil I've got. Add a good bit of this. I don't want my stuff burning this time. Okay. Now, get my steaks, get this heated. And I guess that's it for a bit. Let's keep things watched until that heats up. I noticed I did not burn the stuff off the eyes. Oh well. Well, I done lost my train of thought. If you're, like I said before, I'm learning to cook. There's so much I still don't know, but I have been trying to learn for a whole year now, so I can't actually stand my own in the kitchen. But how I learned is by going to YouTube and looking at videos, how-to videos, and I need to cut. My eyes are funny, so I'm gonna have to cut it off, let that cool down, and then turn it down to medium or medium low because I don't want this getting done too fast, but I don't want it sticking either. Then it feels like it's trying to stick. Okay. Got one trying to go too fast, and I got another one not going fast enough.
Nice job. That should buy us some time before a counterattack comes to Green.
And I lost my train of thought. Oh, yeah. But the quickest, if you're, like I said, if you're learning to cook, YouTube helped me out a lot over time. And another thing is just get in there and try. At one point, I was making my stuff where they were too salty, or I made meat that was not done. For a very long time, I was not able to do fried chicken properly. Now, who in the world do you know that that lives in the South or from the South and doesn't know how to make a proper fried chicken? I'm still learning. I had just figured it out. Like, just figured it out. But it took me a whole blame year. Now, go ahead and get these steaks going. They're just little fingerling steaks.
Hello, traveler. Do you require mystical equipment to use in battle?
Okay. I can have a couple of these going at the same time because they're kind of small. Oh, that's popping already. Okay, now cut that down. Let that continue to cook. Get that going. Actually, don't think I need it. I think they're done. They're done. So I'll set it right back off. Come over here.
Take a look.
And we'll drain them.
I'm sure I have something
Watch what you're doing when it comes to this because water is hot and it will burn you. If you're not sure you can control it, here, let me come and get you. Bring you over to me. My steaks are doing fine. If you're not sure you know how to turn this pot where you're not going to get burned, go hold it this way away from you. That's the safest thing to do. But I do know what I'm doing, and I'm going to go slowly while pouring this in my strainer. And that way I don't have anything coming off of me. Now, you don't have to turn it the opposite way. Now you know how. And that's how I learned to do it. Now. Okay. Take this back over here. Move you, and I gotta turn my steaks over. These are gonna cook pretty quickly. They look good. Like, really good. Okay, cut this open. My little cheese packets. Eventually, it took me a minute to actually figure out how to do a cheese sauce. So, I don't have to do the box of noodles if I don't want to. I just saw them on sale, and I figured it's a lot cheaper to do it that way. That way my family can have mac and cheese, and I don't have to worry about how to get that on the table from scratch. So, occasionally, I will cut corners. Now, if I have it and I don't, I put butter in here while I'm mixing my cheese. I don't, like I said, I don't have it, so I'm not going to be able to do that this time. Get this other one going. But really, from here, all you do is put your butter in there, put your cheese in there, mix those two together, add your milk. My problem is I don't have butter or milk. So, if you've ever been there, done that, I'm going to do something a little different. I'm going to take mayonnaise. Strange, yes, I know. And I'm going to take some water and I'm going to cream it that way. Like I would cream potatoes.
I'm sure I could give you a copy.
Okay. So this, that needs to go, that's popping pretty good. So I'm going to get this mixed. Cut that one up. Because I want to make sure I don't wind up with complete colors. And I do need to stir to see what's going on with them. Okay, this one is done. So, I can get that over my plate. Add another one. Those two are just about done too. So now I can get rid of this. Okay. No, we need some steak sauce. Any suggestions?
Poke holes in the meat.
Boy, I nearly got it done.
Poke holes.
Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. These are so little, I don't have to. They cook very quickly. And he is right. If you have a very thick meat, then poke holes in it. It may sound weird, but trust me. Thick meat, poke holes in it, and you will wind up with a very, still a very tender meat, but it'll go, the juices, the heat will go through the meat and cook it a lot faster and even. So let me get my mayonnaise. Take this, put it in the sink. You don't need it. You need me some water though, so I will come over here. Grab that. We'll take get another spoon. I'm just trying to get creamy from the eggs, from the mayonnaise. That's it. That's the only purpose it's serving. I'm not trying to do anything fancy or anything. I'm just trying to make do with what I've got at the moment. And this is time to turn these over. Like I said, they cook very quickly. This last one's almost done. And I mean just about done. And my dinner is nearly done. See what these look like. That's coming along. Dinner will be done shortly. So I'm going to cut this back on because that was maybe right there. Not quite medium, but just about there to it. And get this stirred in and creamed and nice and pretty. If you're trying to season meat, here's and you're not sure what seasonings go together. Rule of thumb: salt and pepper always. And then whatever else you're wanting to use, I use my nose. If you're trying to make a combination of some stuff, I use my nose. Whatever, if I like the way it smells, I'm gonna use it. We like using lemon pepper a lot, so a lot of times I will cut out the pepper altogether and just use lemon pepper. If I have something that smells somewhat the same as that lemon, I will use it. And I did have something like that for quite a while, but I ran out. And that's done. Okay. Now, steaks are done. If you want to make a gravy, take some flour, add it to your grease, stir that up real good till it's nice and golden, and you don't. Oh, I just saw an ambulance pass by. Hope they're all right. Stir it up, and you want to make sure the flour cooks. Then add some milk to it. Keep stirring because you don't want a lumpy gravy, and that will actually turn into a very wonderful, delicious gravy. And I have actually done that to put on top of my steaks at one point. Now, let's just see what mayonnaise does to this. That's actually very good. I'm surprised. I'm really surprised because I wasn't really sure about that mayonnaise. Flavor-wise, I wasn't sure at all. But that turned out great. About time for me to start plating. Honey Bunches, I still don't have tea. Is water okay? Come here. Pause that and come here, please. Okay, hon. Okay. Gonna move you backwards again. Move this out of my way. Okay. Now we'll stick that in there. Over.
Yes.
Unless you want water for your supper, I would take that coffee that I didn't drink this morning and what you hadn't drank and heat it up.
That's not much coffee.
I meant from my from that you made this morning, honey. Did you made us coffee this morning? If that's your choice, really. I just really hadn't been able to do the tea yet. Okay. Steak. We're going to plate this. Because they're little, I'm going to make sure we're just going to take two. Now, I am going to cut into this steak and let you see. It's still, by letting it, now I let it sit on that plate on purpose. But that way, you wind up with a very juicy, tender steak. And that's very important. And that also comes from trial and error. You want to let your meat sit before you go cut into it. Because if you don't, you're going to let all your juices run right out of it. That's very good. Wish I had some steak sauce, but I don't have any.
Use your power to stop the demon spawning.
But in truth, don't really need it. Need to find me a recipe to hand make it. Wouldn't that be something new to learn? Okay. I'm gonna do my mac and cheese. That's kind of what we're doing. Right here. Okay. At the moment, yes, there are three of us, but one's only a 6-month-old. He's not old enough to eat what we eat yet. So, yeah, we're still growing our family. Other than that, I've got we rescue. So I've got a total of 5 cats, 2 dogs. They're my babies, just as good as my baby is. And everybody gets treated the same, including timeout, which is kind of funny. Sometimes I wind up with one of them will let you know that he's in timeout until he gets out of timeout. And Daniel's the type that if you keep hounding him, you're going to stay in there longer. So it winds up being a battle of who's the worst. Battle of wits. And then I got another one, a kitten. When he gets in trouble, he's trying to find a way to escape very quickly. And he's biting at the bars. Sorry, my nose is itching. But I use my wrist. Okay. Sometimes he eats these, sometimes he don't. I give it to him anyway. Okay. Well, that is my show, everyone. Hope you enjoyed it. Always remember, and I know everybody hates to hear it. God gives you a lemon. If you wind up with lemons in your life, make lemonade. Oh, well, I've only discovered one way to do that one. Still got some turnip greens on this thing. Hang on a second. That's good too. I think I'll keep that for. Only one way to do that for me is to pray. Make sure you pray all the time. Faith of a mustard seed is very important. If you don't know how big a mustard seed is, let me see if I can't show you.
You must free them and save Raven from her
My adopted mom had one at one point because she used to teach kids. And see one of these, see if I can get closer. Where's the camera here? The bottom of these pepper flakes, the red pepper flakes. If you look at some of that, just one of that, all you gotta have. You'd be surprised. Just a little bit of faith. Just a little bit of hope that something's gonna come. Something better's coming. You'd be surprised. It actually will. You just gotta be patient. It may not happen on your time. You may want it to be like me and want it now. But God will do it in His time. He will give you the miracle you need when He thinks you're ready for it. For a long, long time, I was not happy in my life. My adopted parents found I had mental problems and thought the only way to properly take care of me was to shut me away from the world. I stayed like that for 12 years. They did not know they were hurting me, but they did. And because of that, the relationship I have with them just doesn't exist anymore. Wish it did. I wish to God it did. But I can't change things. All I can do is pray about it, and if it was meant to be, it will be. I just can't go and push them into something they're not either one, not ready for, or two, just don't want. You can't make people love you. You can't make people like you. And because I got sick and screwed up, I lost them. Is it anybody's fault? Not really. It just one of those things that just happened. But I done lost my train of thought now. Yeah, remember God loves you. He's always going to be looking out for you. I wound up learning a very big lesson very quickly that God has not left me and that He has never left me. And everything I had wanted was going to happen, but when He was darn good and ready. And that's practically the words He said, just a little uglier. He had to get a little ugly with me. Shut up, because I ain't done yet. But, yeah, that one little, him fussing at me really turned my life around, because now, whatever I do, I go through him. If he says no, then okay. As bad as I hate to do it, I will wait. And because I have learned to be patient and wait on His time, the two things I have always wanted has happened. One, I always wanted to be a wife. December 17th, 2018, that happened. And two, I wanted a family of my own. Well, now, not only do I have a husband, I also have a 6-month-old with that very man. And we got the baby before the marriage. Backwards, yes, but I came from a previous broken relationship, and he just was looking for a one-night stand, and we just wound up clicking. We really did. I was meant to be a roommate, and just that never happened. It never really happened, but he always respected me and gave me time to learn to trust him. And because he did respect me, I love him to death. Now, that man in there will actually get all over my rear end if he thinks I have pushed myself too hard in cleaning the house. Because he knows my back is screwed up and he knows my body can't take it. So I get in trouble just like a little kid sometimes. No, I don't get time out, but I do get a big chewing out sometimes. But it's for my own good. He only does it because he loves me. Now, on the other side, he knows I never ask for anything. And a lot of times, if he can afford it, he don't ask me if I want something. If he sees something nice and pretty, he just goes out and gets it. Because even though in my frame of mind, my family comes first. In his frame of mind, his wife comes first. And I got all these wonderful things by just waiting on God. He knew what I was going to need. He knew what I was going to need, when I was going to need it. But I had to learn something first. Yes, being in a place for 12 years, shut off from society, was not the ideal thing, but it taught me to clean my house properly. Now, even though my husband has never really cleaned anything, he doesn't clean, but he has cleaned in with his mom, but not much. Now I can take him aside and say, "All right, this is how you do this," and he will do it. If I just can't do it, I ask him to do the dishes, and he will do it. If he finds I'm not able to do it, a lot of times he will say, "Stop, go sit down. I got it." Like I was trying to clean my floors on my hands and knees. I've got one of these carpet cleaners, but it's one of those that sits on the ground. It's got the little brushes. You got to get on your hands and knees and do it, clean it. And I told him I'm about to throw up my back. I'm going to have to take it a couple of days at a time, do it a little at a time, or I'm going to wind up with a very sore back. Well, he told me sit down, or he told me go do dishes. He's got it. Well, he did a little bit more than I did. And now I got a clean floor. Honey bunches.
I can't keep Raven contained for long. She's opened a portal.
Daniel, baby.
She wants us to help her fight.
Daniel. Posse, come here, please, hon.
What you done?
Mm-hmm.
You showed them your plate?
Yeah.
Okay.
Now, y'all have a wonderful night and God bless.